Strong words. Love. Soul. And change. Yeah, this is Big Snoop Dogg. Coming at you live and direct. And I got something to say. You dig?
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Brother, what will you discover if we come together and do it like we never? I'm just sick and tired. I'm fit to light the fire. Now put this on the wire. The devil is a liar. I do this with no hesitation. Meet me at the reservation. Elevating, educating, meditating, concentrating. Replenish ya, finish ya, opposite of sinister. And I do it for the minister.
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Somebody need to stop the war. Man, the war ain't overseas, it's at your front door. And I done seen too many brothers shot up on the floor for more than drugs and some colors. And now you call us warlords. But if you can help it, then help it. But you ain't helping us. You so selfish and selfless, you wanna see us breathless and helpless. But I'ma hustle and tussle for all my brothers who struggle. Yeah, we bang the world. Now let's change the world.
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Everybody get along, man, that be the perfect song. Peace in the streets as I sit back on my phone, chilling with the president. He let me in the White House, back to the castle with the minister. No doubt, shoes at the front door. Love is what you come for. Let's get it right and unite, but do it
Let's
pronto.
change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Peace. Strong words. Love. Soul. And change. Yeah, this is Big Snoop Dogg. Coming at you live and direct. And I got something to say. You dig?
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Brother, what will you discover if we come together and do it like we never? I'm just sick and tired. I'm fit to light the fire. Now put this on the wire. The devil is a liar. I do this with no hesitation. Meet me at the reservation. Elevating, educating, meditating, concentrating. Replenish ya, finish ya, opposite of sinister. And I do it for the minister.
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Somebody need to stop the war. Man, the war ain't overseas, it's at your front door. And I done seen too many brothers shot up on the floor for more than drugs and some colors. And now you call us warlords. But if you can help it, then help it. But you ain't helping us. You so selfish and selfless, you wanna see us breathless and helpless. But I'ma hustle and tussle for all my brothers who struggle. Yeah, we bang the world. Now let's change the world.
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Everybody get along, man, that be the perfect song. Peace in the streets as I sit back on my phone, chilling with the president. He let me in the White House, back to the castle with the minister. No doubt, shoes at the front door. Love is what you come for. Let's get it right and unite, but do it
Let's
pronto.
change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
What could someone do to, I guess, educate themselves, prepare, and take advantage of a potential crash?
What's wrong with the crash? That's what people don't understand. Crashes are really good.
Yeah,
You know, crashes are basically like Neiman Marcus having a sale.
right, right.
So in 2008, when the markets crashed, they also lowered the interest rates. I thought I died and went to heaven. That means I get my debt cheaper.
Yeah,
So when the markets crashed, my partners and I borrowed $300 million and we bought more property. And so 10 years later, we're now almost 600 million in debt. We just passed $500 million. But we get very rich off of debt. But that takes financial education.
I know right now in the United States, it's been triggered as a bear market, which is when stocks drop from 20% or more from the all-time high. A recession or a bear market often only happens every decade. And so right now we're entering into that territory. There's a lot of businesses that are going to be affected by this.
So this is bubblenomics. It came about in 1970. This happened in 1971 when fake money came in. So I want to give you economics or bubblenomics 101. It ain't that hard. So what happened after 1971 when the dollar became fake? It meant governments could print their own money. Well, why would you work for money when they can print it? It's called counterfeit money. Why would you save money when they can print it? So this here is economics for the average person, me. 1971, when they ran out of money, they just printed money. And they kept printing money. They kept printing money. So the government's out of money, we just print more money. And then 1987, we almost went down. It's the biggest one-day crash, supposedly. I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, so after 87, they just... And what happened in 2000 was a dot-com crash. So what did they do? Biggest bubble ever. So 2008, what happened? What did they do after 2008? The biggest money printing in the history of the world. So this is called bubblenomics. So what happens when things go on a bubble? Real estate prices go through the roof. Stock prices go through the roof. Bond prices go through the roof. And people get this false sense of being rich. This is bubblenomics. So what's coming up is pensions are going broke in America. The baby boomers are not going to be able to retire. So they've been stolen by Wall Street. Wall Street puts out these toxic assets like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, stuff I don't touch. And they keep it's now into trillions. And it's going to be trillions more. So let me ask you a question. What's going to happen? That's called Economics 101. Thank you very much.
I'm preparing that if there's a recession, that yes, my portfolio, everything can drop up to 50%, but long-term, I'll be able to quadruple my net worth over a 5 to 10 year horizon and quadruple it in ways that I never would have been able to just going at the pace that I'm right now. So I look at it as an incredible opportunity for me personally, where I can take advantage of that, knowing what I know, preparing my mindset, even learning investing, learning business, learning marketing, all these things that can make sure that I can benefit as much as I can when that time comes. And if it doesn't occur, which I don't think that is likely, it's just a matter of time. But if it doesn't, then I'm still benefiting from the gains that I have because I'm not completely out of the market. Like I said, I still have a lot of my net worth invested. I'm receiving dividends from these investments, and I do invest every single month as well when there's dips in the market and opportunity that I deem is worthwhile. So it's taking that long-term approach, guys. I think that's the most important thing. If you got time on your side, then a recession can be the greatest opportunity of your life.
Ready for revolution. That is a fact, family. That is a fact. Another edition of Class in Session. I'm your brother and friend, Brother Eric Ture Muhammad, and I appreciate the opportunity today. And we're going to begin to share this opportunity with everyone. So good morning to all of you on the stream. And I want to thank you. Many of you were with me last night after the Gold is Gold show. I came on and did an additional stream, and that stream was really a rant. It was, I just had one of those moments, and I appreciate you all tolerating me. I appreciate everything that you afforded me in terms of tolerance. So peace and power to all of you. Thank you for allowing me to share. I left that stream up. You're welcome to take a look at it because it really speaks, I believe, to where we are, where we're heading, what our ministry is, what our true passion should be, and the direction, the course of action that we need to take as servant leaders, and relying on those who have done this, relying on those who have proven the success in this. And if we duplicate what they have done, then it makes it easier for us to change a world. The theme that you heard this morning came from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, accompanied and featuring Snoop Dogg. Let's Change the World. That is the title track of the box set collection that highlights 60 years of the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that many of you have heard on a daily basis from Class in Session. This is his birthday month. This past Monday, he turned 87 years young. And so we dedicate a song, at least one song, each and every day that Class is in session in honor of the birthday music month of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so today you heard Let's Change the World, the title track. And there'll be some more coming as the days and the weeks continue. And we also want to thank all of you, many of you, a part of this stream, a part of Wealth Builders, and outside of Wealth Builders have seen the shares that you have produced. And as a result, people have acquired those box sets, and they're starting to post them and show the unveiling of this set and how quickly they received it. So again, I appreciate the positioning that we're in. We are a people of influence. Take none of your influence for granted because it is a part of our reality. People are in need. People are in search. People are looking for leaders. People are looking for a way out of what we're experiencing. And as a result, we have an opportunity to share it because we do know it and understand. Peace and power. Dr. Sergio Razel, good morning to you. Ready for Revolution. Brother Abdul Rahman, Assalamu alaikum. Brother Rafis Jones, Ahu. William Hafiz Bey, wa alaikum salam. Sister Tamika, good morning to you, Queen. Sister Chametra, good to see you as well. So, family, we're going to keep it moving forward. We have a presentation for you today. I feel so smooth and relaxed this morning. I can't explain it, but this session is designed to give us more tools. This is known as the call to more. The call to more. All right. And it's going to allow us to budget our home life as we wealth build. Okay. Very key component to building wealth. You need to know how to budget for it. You need to know how to not just attain it, but how to preserve it, how to create an in-home, in-house fiscal in this new world and this new reality. So yesterday we dealt specifically about the list in the world of networking and how the list represents the distance between where we are and where we want to be. And we showed some tenets and showed some tools that God has blessed me to fashion after my leadership that allowed me to become that much more successful in what we do. And I shared it with you because I know if it worked for me, and I'm a dummy, I know it'll work for the brilliant minds and hearts that are out here in this world of wealth building. So we're going to start sharing some of those entities with you today. And we want you to, of course, take good note. All right. So let's get started. We're going to move into the call to more. Now, I am a Muslim, and we have in Islam what is known as a call to prayer. And we get up in the morning, we perform Fajr prayer, which requires a washing of the hands, a washing of up to your forearms, a washing out of your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your ears, across your forehead, the back of your neck. You wash off the feet from the soles up to the ankles, and you prepare yourself in a clean environment, a welcome environment where you give your obeisance to God, and you thank him for the opportunity to see life again and move in a way that creates an agenda of a righteous pursuit. But you have a call to prayer first, and you're calling on God because you know he's the greatest. And you look to the east, you look to the west, and you call on him to preserve and protect you. You come to him with open hands to receive the many blessings that he has already placed at your disposal and allow you to maneuver with them as you go through the day. So that's a call to prayer. Well, this is a call to more because this also speaks to that prayer because we're dealing with God's money. So I titled it Call to More because I don't want anyone to think that this is a separate pursuit from a righteous intent. Okay, we understand the power of utilizing God's money, and as a result, we're sharing how to build in his storehouse, in his way. All right, so the first thing we want to do is identify your surplus. What is a surplus? We're going to help you build that surplus by what you already possess, not going out to get more, but properly utilizing what you have at your disposal. And the last portion there, which we're going to start with first, is stop the financial bleed in your economy. And your economy is the roof over your home that you control. All right. So let's look into that a little bit. To stop the financial bleed. How do we successfully stop a financial bleed? Well, you got to understand what it is. And to understand what it is, simply put, stopping a financial bleed rather, is to lose money. It's defined as it is to lose money in a venture or investment over time. Bleeding may occur fast or slowly, but never improves. Okay? You have to stop it to control it. So it never improves. That's like getting stabbed in the back 12 inches and someone removing the knife 6 inches. and you're made to believe you're making progress, but the knife is still in your back. The blood is still oozing out. Now, the blood represents your life fluids, okay? Blood and water make up your life fluids. Blood is the fortification or strength of that staff of life in your body. The water is the knowledge, the elements by which the blood is able to course, and the blood is allowed to breathe and travel. You have to stop the bleeding. You can't just give it a Band-Aid. You can't just put a little salve on it. You can't just give it a tourniquet and think that the bleeding is stopping, but it's literally hemorrhaging on the other side because the blood is building up without flow. So you have to stop the bleed to save the life of your economy, to save the life under your roof. Very key things to do. So all economies create a budget. And if you create a budget successfully, you will have a budget. All right? What is a budget? We're going through some terminology today because I don't want to take for granted that everyone just understands and knows what that is. So I'm just sharing, because I don't intend to insult. I don't want to speak ill to your knowledge base. I just don't want to assume that everybody understands what we're talking about. Okay? So what is a budget? A budget is the combination of an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. A budget is not just what you have in your hands. A budget is what you have juxtaposed or combined with what you have to use within a set period of time. I like using the term or the fixed amount of time as a monthly, because monthlies allow us to see our progress better. Monthly allows us to build out, okay, where we don't just operate in the moment under self gratification, rather, or instant gratification, rather. It doesn't allow us to deal out of instant gratification. We have to expand our leveraging. And when we do it on a monthly basis, we can see it better. We can determine better. We can allocate properly instead of living in the moment. Okay. So why are budgets or budgeting necessary? Okay. Hey, coach of coaches, Brother Al Murray in the house. Oh, well, budgeting is necessary because it allows you to create a spending plan for your money. Okay, now you already know, many of you who are wealth builders on this platform, you know that gold is money. The world, 99% of the world, has no idea what true money is. And you have the opportunity to share it with them and offer them that free gold savings account that will get them started in exchanging that declining paper dollar for a pure tier 1 asset known as gold, right? So budgeting allows you to create a spending plan for your money. It ensures that you will always have enough money for the things you need and the things that are important to you. Following a budget or spending plan will also keep you out of debt or help you work your way out of debt if you are currently in debt. All right. So here's where the mind shift has to occur. The mind shift that needs to occur is one that doesn't allow us to operate out of impulse. That doesn't allow us to operate out of panic, being panic stricken. The same light bill that's due today is going to be due tomorrow. The same car note or house note that's due today is going to be due next month. These are reoccurring bills. So you treat it with the urgency and attention that it deserves, but you prioritize how you do it. So how do you move to develop your budget? Do you take on more work to earn more income? Not necessarily. That's not how we're going to move today. We're going to show you some practical things to do. You're going to identify your surplus. All right. Surplus is an amount of something left over when requirements have been met. Now, majority of us in the world who are of the working class have no experience in this whatsoever, not long lasting. Surplus is an amount of something left over when requirements have been met. Surplus is more than what is needed or used. It's considered excess. Now, you don't mind having more money, but that's not been our experience because we have not identified our spending habits, our habits of usage. Okay, but once you identify them and redirect the mindset behind it, you start developing and accumulating a surplus immediately. I'm in my fasting month of Ramadan, so I don't drink the $3 cups of coffee anymore during the day for the next 30 days. And if I'm operating out of a 3 to 4 cup a day regimen, normally that means I'm spending at least $10 a day, including your taxes. I'm spending at least $10 a day for cups of coffee. But because it's been eliminated for 30 days, guess what? I have $300 now in my surplus. You understand? When you eliminate frivolous spending, it allows you to build your surplus. Now, that's not wealth yet. That's surplus. That's not wealth yet because you have not successfully or skillfully applied the process of exchanging the paper dollars for gold, your tier 1 asset. It's getting good to me, so excuse me. I get to moving and get all giddy and excited. Hey, Sister CC Mahone, Alicia the Mentor, good to see you. Sister Trina Purdue James, Brother Jamal, glad to see you, brother. Wa alaikum salam, Sister Gloria. Okay, so you have to identify you personally now, not generally speaking, you who are following this stream, you who are taking notes, you who have an understanding that you want to see better with what you have. You have to start taking inventory on how you use your money. And understand there's a difference between use and spend. So when you eliminate spending, you can put your money to use. You hear governments talk all day. We have to develop a budget. We have to slow down our spending. We have to cut the spending. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And because we don't understand the power of circulation and use or usage, then we take offense when we hear these different parties, Republican, Democratic, whatever, independent. Look, these are all parties, right? But they're wings to the same bird. What happens when you look up at a bird that's flying over your head? It'll crap on you. You see the droppings all on your car. You see some on your clothes when you go out for your gathering. You be mad as all get out. When governments are made to say we have to stop spending, when they're made to say we have to cut spending, you see it as an indictment against you, the working class. But it's not an indictment against you if you understand it. It's a science, it's a system that has to be applied so that you can further your economy. So what do we mean by cut spending? Well, spending is a definitive act of throwing away your money. When you spend, it's gone. When you spend, it doesn't have a point to return to because you've eliminated the point of origin. Once it starts with you, it should end with you. But if it starts with you and you throw it out the window, nothing is coming back. So the power of circulation is key, but you have to identify what you spend, what you throw away, and keep it. So eliminate spend from your vocabulary and use terms like use. I use my money. I don't spend my money. I circulate my money. I don't spend my money because I want it to stay with me. Don't you want your money to stay with you? Think about it. Hey, Brother Giselle, good to see you. Think about it. So these are the things that we have to do. How do we do it? Make a list of your spending habits, because you got to know what you're spending in order to break the habit of spending and get into usage. So make a list. I already told y'all how I am about paper. I write on everything. Okay. But I want you, can't use that pen because that pen is designed for my book of follow-up. I want to be able to show you something that you can see. I didn't want to pull the board out right away, but okay, let's look at it this way. Can you see this? All right. I want you to, let me do it this way. I want you to identify what you spend. And once you identify it, you're going to move it to the other side of the page, which is surplus. Okay. So identify what you spend. Let's say you spend on entertainment. Let's say movies. We're not doing that right now with our stay in place orders, shelter in place orders, but I'll use it as an example. Say your movies cost you $15 in admission. All right. And say you take a family of 5 or 6. I know when Brother Carlito came to Atlanta to visit the family, we all went out to the movies. It cost us, thank God for his military discount. Thank you for your service, Brother Carlito. However, it still cost us a pretty penny. So let's look at that. $60. That's what it costs. Well, once it's eliminated from your spending habit, you don't necessarily have to now spend it because you recognize that it's not going out anymore. No, you allocate it towards your surplus. Now you have $60 that you identified in your budget because you have a surplus. And you continue to go down the line. So if you're doing fast food, I'll put FF for fast food. If you're doing fast food every week, every day, and it's costing you $15, $20 a day, that's $100. You see? And what does it do? It adds to your surplus. What you're doing is you're building. Hey, Brother Charles, good to see you. What you're building is your budget. You're eliminating spending and you're creating disposable income. But instead of disposing of it, you're investing in yourself. You're moving it to the other side of the sheet, the balance sheet. You're creating a surplus. Okay? When a surplus is an amount of something left over when requirements have been met. So now you're creating space by which you can accomplish things. You see? And then surplus is more than what is needed or used. It's considered excess. So what happens when you continue to move the needle? You identify your spending, you eliminate that, and put it on the other side. You eliminate it, put it on to the other side. You continue to eliminate and move over to the other side. Pretty soon, you have a cachet or a coffer of additional monies that you didn't have to go out your house to create, that you didn't have to punch a clock to produce additionally. It's already in your possession. You just have to understand the power of what you have and how to control it. Okay? So you have now moved into a process where you are saving and building your ability to invest in your household, you're creating a surplus by which eventually you will create a budget. Hey, Brother Jalil, good to see you, brother. All right. How's this happen? Again, how do you use your money? Let's go back to that screen really quick. How do you use your money? When you eliminate spending, you in turn create a surplus. When that surplus is identified, you then immediately add to your coffers, your treasure chest, your war chest. It builds your budget for the following month. The following month. Okay. This is not something that because you identified, you got to spend it right away because you see it. You have to now allocate it, keep it there. You see, there's no need of including it in use right now because you didn't even know you had it. But now that you have it, it doesn't mean that you instantly put it out. And I remind you that when I talk to you out of class in the session, we always talk about the 4 Ds, right? We talk about the dream, the desire, the determination, the discipline. Those components have to be there in order for you to avail yourself to identify your leakage and stop the bleeding. Okay? That's what has to happen. So let's look at the next screen. Tomorrow, you're going to get an entire Carrot Bars unilevel compensation plan presentation from me. Be it the will of God. You're going to get this training because you have to understand the power of what's in your hands. We have to understand the power of what's in our hands. Do you know that the bedrock of all that we do is saving in gold? So you've identified your spending habits and patterns, right? That's what you just go spend, move it over to surplus. Spend, move it over to surplus, right? You've done that. So when you do that today, you'll see what you have to start with in your next month. But that's not your money yet. That, family, is your disposable income. Now you're going to allocate that income into wealth by exchanging that 60 declining dollars, that 100 declining dollars, that 15 or 20 or 30, whatever you have been accustomed to putting out, you're going to exchange that for its weight in gold, because the weight of it in cash gold, in classic gold, the weight of it guarantees value far exceeding its worth as disposable income. So now you're moving it from spending to allocation to circulation. That's the usage model. Okay, you're moving it from waste to preservation to circulation. And then it begins to build for you. And as it builds for you, the value of it continues to increase. And the longer it sits, the more it's worth. And when you encourage this with other team members, when you encourage this with other members of your community, then you will find that you set yourself up for a tremendous amount of wealth and a tremendous amount of success. You see? So, but it doesn't stop there. Because think about it. You're saving in gold. and it's building. You've encouraged other people to do the same, and that allocation is now in your surplus as well, in your coffer as well, because every month you're paid a commission against what your teams do. You are an influencer. So you share the opportunity that allows you to amass the wealth. This is not instant gratification, but you do have instant access. Okay, so you're building the wealth, right? So how do we do it in wealth? But how do you accelerate and maximize everything you do? You introduce the opportunity to a person, to two people. How did you introduce? You got your free gold savings account, you got a package, and you start saving monthly in gold. And then you get two people to do what you've done. Those two people turn into four, those four turn into eight, those eight turn into 16, those 16 turn into 32, the 32, 64, 64, 128, 128, 256, and it goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on, right? They're doing what you're doing. So you've automatically maximized the compensation plan on the monthly basis. So everything that accumulates continues to generate points, and it gives you higher commission earnings for the following month. All right, that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is your unit building. And as those units build in your organization, then what then begins to happen, you start accumulating payouts, DTBs, dual team payouts, right? And if they're getting packages, you are getting commissions against those packages, and you're getting matching bonuses against those packages. Do you see how now you are literally building an empire of wealth? Here's the other side of it. You're still operating out of your monthly budget. So because you're earning more, you don't spend more. You allocate. Now you're able to identify what are those things that you need to have in taken care of within your budget. So let's move to another sheet. We always talk about 10%, right? We use that as a model. Why? It's a model that's used in the Bible. We don't know why 10% was chosen, but it's there. Mr. George Clayson, the richest man in Babylon creator or author, he said, and I paraphrasing the quote, he says that if you can't save 10% of whatever you earn, the seed of greatness is not in you. It doesn't mean that the seed of greatness is not in you. It means the seed has yet to germinate. So right now, we're nurturing seeds. We're producing sun and water and air and good nutrition enriched soils. Now your seeds are germinating. But what happens? It sends a root down before it sends a shoot up. Before you see the plant, there's some things going on underneath. Before you see the plant, it has a strong foundation. It feeds off the soil. It feeds off the nutrients in your soil. It feeds off the watering. It feeds off the sun that beats down on the soil, that continues to tap the seed, that breaks it out of its shell, right? When the root is firmly planted, the shoot comes up and you start to see the eventual plant, tree, or the bloom on them. So 10%, we build on 10%, but it's more than that. I want you now to include 3%. Only spend 3% out of your budget. And when you spend that 3%, let it be on personal development. Personal development. Why do we celebrate a system? Why do we always talk systems and celebrate systems? I lost the top to this marker, and my folks are going to be vexed with me if I don't find it. There you go, because they dry out so fast. All right. Why do we celebrate and encourage systems? We celebrate and encourage systems, family, because systems do not fail you. when you can no longer operate, when you're tired or when you're on the go or when you're not available to do the things that need to get done, the system is there to work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's why we have our power calls. That's why we have our freedom calls. That's why we have our 12 noon and 9 p.m. trainings. That's why we have the launch parties. That's why we have the fast track trainings. That's why we have the 5 and 5 trainings. That is why we have the list trainings. This is why we do it, because the system will not fail you. People can fail all the time. Yes, CC, BAB, building a budget. Systems will fail you all the time. You know, I mean, not fail you. Systems will not fail you. Man, woman, we will fail you. Human beings, we are fallible. We fail all of the time. But the system in place, followed to the letter, doesn't allow for failure. It doesn't allow for failure. You see? And this is the power in what you have. So I want to show you a little bit of the, I think I can. I have a little time here. And I just want to show you a little bit of the power that you find in the unilevel. We're going to train on it tomorrow. We're dedicating tomorrow strictly for the unilevel program found in Carabal's International. Okay. And let me see if I can get to it. All right. I think I got it. Okay. Let's go to what it can do, what its potential is. Y'all all right? I am too. Okay, so your movement of money is really simple in the unilevel system. This is you, and you're bringing people on, and every person you bring is considered a line. So if I bring Cece, that's one line. If I bring Damawi, that's 2 lines. If I bring Azena, that's 3 lines, right? But everybody's not going to do the same thing in the organization. But what happens is when your money starts moving through the system, it means the money moves to you because you're building the organization, right? So they save and go, but they also start acquiring packages, right? And then it grows from there. It just continues to grow. People start doing their own thing because it's their own business. And as you increase their understanding, your wealth base increases because they're increasing their wealth base. So you just told 2 people. But look what happens when those 2 people do what you have done. You understand? And how long does it grow? Does it only last for 6 months? Does it only last for 10 levels? How often does it grow? Somebody type it in. How long yes, it grows into infinity. Forever. You can't quantify the value of gold. You can't quantify the value of God. You can't quantify the power of what you have. You know, this thing, family, to say the least, is fire. And that's how it moves. It moves just like that. You know, when you find a way to just articulate this information. I mean, look, I just want to share a little bit of that. I did. I just want to share a little bit of that because you need to know what's in your hands. Adam Clayton Powell Jr., the great political force and voice for Black people in the hills of North America. He did this presentation. I think I might just find it and share it tomorrow before we get into the unilevel. He says, what is in your hands? What's in your hands? And he utilized that to explain the power you have when you build for yourself. You know, Family, I'm really, truly, I'm truly excited about the opportunities that we have before us. I thank God for Dr. Harold Constantine Seitz. I thank God for the leadership and wealth builders worldwide. I thank God for allowing my eyes to be opened to see the value of what we have. Yes, those 4Ds are dream, desire, determination, and discipline. Those are the 4Ds. I thank God for it. I thank God for giving us an opportunity to share with people where it's going to help them. But you have to be willing to embrace all of the tools, not one here and one there and complain because you don't have. You embrace the entire system and allow the system to grow you in a way that you couldn't have done on your own. That's the opportunity we have in front of us. So family, I want to thank you for the opportunity to share this moment, share this budgeting, share the need for expanse of our vocabulary, where it creates the shift of mind from that of the pauper, from that of the working class, to that of the rich, the wealthy, the gods and goddesses that we are. All right, tomorrow I will be with us at 8 a.m. Eastern, and we'll go through the full launch of the unilevel plan in Karatbars in its entirety. It's quick, but take note. You need to understand the power of what you have. I know we don't understand it, because if we did understand it, there'd be no need for classes in session. There'd be no need for power calls. There'd be no need for freedom calls. There'd be no need, because we will have engulfed the whole planet with this opportunity to get paid to save. Period. We would have done that by now. So again, I thank you. I look forward to seeing us tomorrow. And I'm going to share once again. Oh, so Mr. Kiyosaki, let me see if I can find on May 21st. I still have my screens here. Well, you're going to really enjoy what's about to happen, because on May 21st, Robert Kiyosaki, at the invite of Karatbars International, will be doing a presentation, and that presentation will be live streamed, and the information is on different social media platforms. You'll hear more about it, I'm sure, today at a power call at 10:45. But his subject is protect and increase your wealth in uncertain times. How many of you saw the beginning of the presentation where he did Bubblenomics? If you didn't see it, with your permission, I'll share it again before we close out. All right. We got a few minutes. It's only like 4 minutes of a clip. I'll share that. We'll close with that, and we will then join each other again at 10:45 a.m. I'm sorry that Eastern. I'm sorry I don't have my other slides together. I was just so full over understanding what God has given us that I wanted to make sure I poured all that I know into this opportunity with you today. And normally I would have our Wednesday slides, so you would know that on our power call, www.goldrocks.info, you're going to find Mr. and Mrs. Willie and Sherry Brown hosting is Hump Day. They're hosting the platform today. And then right after that, we have our training. I believe today is Brother Dante, who will do the 12 o'clock noon training, either him or Mr. Berger. I can't remember, to be honest. I'm having a senior moment, but that's at 12 noon. And then we're again back and the training at 9 p.m. Eastern, but at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, we have the Freedom Call from Mr. Best. So you should drive all of your prospects, all of the people that you love, to the power call, to the 12 o'clock presentation, to the 9 o'clock presentation, because they will literally change their lives, and you know it for what it's done for you. So I'm going to find this this stream, or rather this slide, and I'm going to share it for you again. It was a video presentation. This was done just a couple of days ago. It was done Monday, I believe. And this is Robert Kiyosaki talking about bubble-nomics. Okay, bubble-nomics. And again, I thank you for the opportunity to share it, and I look forward to seeing us all on goldrocks.info. Peace and power, everybody. Thank you so much for the honor of being with you today. All right, forward.
What could someone do to, I guess, educate themselves, prepare, and take advantage of a potential crash?
What's wrong with the crash? That's what people don't understand. Crashes are really good.
Yeah.
You know, crashes are basically like Neiman Marcus having a sale.
Right. Right.
So in 2008, when the markets crashed, they also lowered the interest rates. I thought I died and went to heaven. That means I get cheap.
Yeah.
So when the markets crashed, my partners and I borrowed $300 million, and we bought more property. And so 10 years later, we're now almost 600 million in debt. We just passed $500 million. But we get very rich off of debt. But that takes financial education.
I know right now in the United States, it's been triggered as a bear market, which is when stocks drop from 20% or more from the all-time high. A recession or a bear market often only happens every decade. And so right now we're entering into that territory. There's a lot of businesses that are going to be affected by this.
So this is bubble-nomics. It came about in 1970. This happened in 1971 when fake money came in. So I want to give you economics or bubble-nomics 101. It ain't that hard. So what happened after 1971 when the dollar became fake? It meant governments could print their own money. Well, why would you work for money when they can print it? Called counterfeit money. Why would you save money when they can print? So this here is economics for the average person, me. 1971, when they ran out of money, they just printed money. And they kept printing money. They kept printing money. So the government's out of money, we just print more money. And then 1987, we almost went down. It's the biggest one-day crash supposedly. I don't think you're talking about. But anyway, so after 87, they just and what happened in 2000 was a dot-com crash. So what did they do? Biggest bubble ever. So 2008, what happened? What did they do after 2008? The biggest money printing in the history of the world. So this is called bubble-nomics. So what happens when things go on a bubble? Real estate prices go through the roof. Stock prices go through the roof. Bond prices go through the roof. And people get this false sense of being rich. This is bubble-nomics. So what's coming up is pensions are going broke in America. The baby boomers are not going to be able to retire. So they've been stolen by Wall Street. Wall Street puts out these toxic assets like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, stuff I don't touch. And they keep it's now in the trillions. It's going to be trillions more. So let me ask you a question. What's going to happen? That's called Economics 101. Thank you very much.
I'm prepared.
What's going to happen? That's called Economics 101. Thank you very much.
I'm preparing that if there's a recession, that yes, my portfolio, everything can drop up to 50%, but long term, I'll be able to quadruple my net worth. over a 5 to 10 year horizon and quadruple it in ways that I never would have been able to just going at the pace that I'm right now. So I look at it as an incredible opportunity for me personally, where I can take advantage of that, knowing what I know, preparing my mindset, even learning investing, learning business, learning marketing, all these things that can make sure that I can benefit as much as I can when that time comes. And if it doesn't occur, which I don't think that is likely, it's just a matter of time. But if it doesn't, then I'm still benefiting from the gains that I have because I'm not completely out of the market. Like I said, I still have a lot of my net worth invested. I'm receiving dividends from these investments, and I do invest every single month as well when there's dips in the market and opportunity that I deem is worthwhile. So it's taking that long-term approach, guys. I think that's the most important thing. If you've got time on your side, then a recession can be the greatest opportunity of your life.
It's 10:45 a.m. Eastern Power Call. Thank you, family.
Peace. Strong words. Love. Soul. And change. Yeah. This is Big Snoop Dogg. Coming at you live and direct. And I got something to say. You dig?
Let's change the world, divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to live again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Brother, what will you discover if we come together and do it like we never? I'm just sick and tired. I'm fit to light the fire. Now put this on the wire. The devil is a liar. I do this with no hesitation. Meet me at the reservation. Elevating, educating, meditating, concentrating. Replenish ya, finish ya, opposite is sinister. And I do it for the minister.
Let's change the world, divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to live again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Somebody need to stop the war. Man, the war ain't overseas, it's at your front door. And I done seen too many brothers shot up on the floor for more than drugs and some colors. And now you call us warlords. But if you can help it, then help it. But you ain't helping us. You so selfish and selfish, you wanna see us breathless and helpless. But I'ma hustle to tussle for all my brothers who struggle. Yeah, we bang the world. Now let's change the world.
Let's change the world, divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to live again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Everybody get along, man, that be the perfect song. Peace in the streets as I sit back on my phone, chilling with the president. He let me in the White House, back to the castle with the minister. No doubt, shoes at the front door. Love is what you come for. Let's get it right, unite, but do it
Let's
honest.
change the world, divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to live again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.